What's up everyone? We're back here with a Q&A fan questions with AU5 and yeah, let's go. Should we start walking? Let's walk. What is your favorite song produced?
My favorite song produced, just ever, in general.
Ever.
Oh my god. There is a song. That's an unfair question. That's totally an unfair question. But the first song that comes to mind, which I think may be one of my favorite songs produced right now, is by a friend of mine who goes by Render, and is called Timbra. It's amazing, and I think it's one of the most magical, just majestic and underrated songs that I've ever heard. It's a whole world in itself. Check it out.
What is your favorite plugin?
Favorite plugin might be, let's see, M-Morph by Melda Production. It is a spectral morphing plugin.
Okay. What DAW do you use?
Yep, I use Ableton Live.
And then, what do you think has influenced your production style the most over the last decade?
I think the most influential thing is probably actually switching to Ableton, because I used Logic for 9 years before, and then when I switched to Ableton, that was like a total game changer when it came to workflow. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Been addicted to it ever since.
What's your best piece of music production advice?
Best piece of music production advice? Yes. I think going as quick as possible. Essentially, when you're starting something out, write as fast as possible, and do not get stuck. Do not get hung up on like the mix down or the sound design. Just stay on your feet and go fast, because you don't want to lose that flow.
Given that you're one of the most technically sound producers in electronic music, do you ever feel like there's a struggle between complexity and listenability?
Yes. Well, I feel like that's one thing that I kind of pride myself on, is the whole concept of complex musical ideas that are wrapped up in something that is understandable and danceable. So yes, that's constantly something that I'm considering. It's really all just comes down to perspective. Sometimes you just gotta zoom out. You gotta realize when you're so focused and zoomed in and microscopic, zoom out and see, does this thing even flow?
Yeah. How long do you hold on to an unfinished project before finishing it or revisiting it?
This varies from, sometimes I'll finish a song in under a week, and sometimes I will work on it on and off for literally several years until I decide to finish it.
Oh, wow. What's your mindset behind L&R panning things? How far do you push it when you use it?
What's the question?
What's your mindset behind L&R panning things? How far do you push it?
Oh, L&R panning. That's not even really something that I consider. It's a production question regarding like stereo imaging, like how wide should sounds be in the stereo field. Just have a good balance of both, and make sure that your high frequencies, just make sure your frequencies are not going in the anti-phase direction.
Is there a strategy for motivation?
I think this is different per person. I think motivation comes down to like being in tune with what's going on. Being in alignment, like with creativity, the whole concept of writer's block. I think writer's block is a self-imposed thing always. Sometimes you just got to get out of your zone, out of your comfort zone. Do something that sometimes you got to force yourself to not do the first thing that comes to mind, and that can put you in some constructive positions to inspire creativity.
Will you ever release Divinorum on vinyl?
Yeah, actually that's something currently that is being printed right now.
Oh, nice. How do you come up with your melodies to work with an entire track?
I'm just gonna be honest. Melodies are one of the most intuitive things for me. Just being exposed to so much music since before I can remember. I just hear melodies in my head, and it just kind of works. That's just how it goes. It's the best way I can explain it.
What do you usually do for those spectral growls?
Spectral growls?
Yes.
I don't really know what that's in reference to. I mean,
okay.
Sorry.
Why do you think color bass isn't quite mainstream yet, and how soon do you think it will be?
I think it's not quite mainstream yet because Chime and I haven't gone on tour yet.
So soon, because it's coming up.
So soon.
What was the inspiration backstory for the all-time classic Snowblind?
Sorry, what was the first part
What
of
was the inspiration or backstory behind the all-time classic
yes.
Snowblind?
So Snowblind was a song that I wrote that was actually inspired, chord progression was inspired by a song by the Birthday Massacre, and I actually heard it, I was listening to them, and I heard it on a plane on the way back from California, and this was back in late 2013, December 2013. I had this progression in my head, and I got back to where I was staying, which was actually in my grandma's basement, and started writing the song there. The name of the song literally just came from going on Twitter. I think I posted about you could still find this tweet, that it was a really snowy day, and then there's nothing like making music on like a snowy day. And then the Unts commented and said, quote, AU5 Snowblind, we're already ahead of you, or like, I don't know. And I was like, they just came up with the name for me, so I just decided to use that name. And then Tasha Baxter, I hit her up, and she turned that random name into something that had some meaning.
Wow.
And then bam, that's how it went.
What do you do when you hit writer's block?
Well, so oftentimes I try to force it. I just try to push through. Oftentimes that doesn't work, so I just give myself a break, try to explore other things, try to figure out what I've been not exploring in my life, and see where that goes.
How many hours do you enjoyably produce every day, and how many is seen as work?
Oh man, so I mean this varies drastically. Sometimes weeks go by where I'm not producing anything. Sometimes when I'm in the flow, it's by the time I wake up to go to sleep, so that's like about 12 hours. Yeah, it really varies.
Will brostep come back?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Longest project it took to complete, and why?
Probably Guardians. That was actually one of the very first songs that I started writing when I was like 13 or 14, when I first got Logic. And it had a really good melody and progression, and I didn't really have the skills to finish it and basically make it what I envisioned it until many, many years later, and I revisited it, and it was still like a fresh melody and motif, and that's when I decided to finish it. So that was like 8 or 9 years. Yeah, that was one of those examples.
Not a question, but I love you and I love your music, man.
Thank you.
Do you see yourself having any more Ophelia releases?
I'd like to. It's funny, I was actually talking to Seven Lions last night at Beyond Wonderland, and he asked me if that's something that he asked me the same thing. I'd like to, yeah, I'm not against it at all.
Will you give us your Razer wavetables, please?
Actually, you can get a whole preset pack of my wavetables in my Serum masterclass. But
here you go.
Yeah.
Best path to developing one's signature sound?
Okay, this is a good question. I think the best route to doing that, it really just comes down to persistence and patience. Like, explore it. Your signature sound is not something that you construct and mastermind. No, it's something that naturally emerges when you allow yourself to create freely and allow yourself to be in tune with the things that you genuinely are inspired by. Like, just listen to more if you can't find a signature sound, just listen to more music and just produce more without judgment. It's just something that's naturally going to arise.
Someone said, just tell him that he's an inspiration.
Thank you.
What do you think about implementing surround sound in an LCR bass track as a norm?
Ooh, I think that could be really cool. That's actually something recently, that's something that I've been thinking about doing. But I think that would be awesome as the norm. That would be so dope. What would suck is to figure out how everybody can listen to that properly without having some super expensive system.
Serum or Vital? Why?
That's apples and oranges, man. I'd say Vital for experimenting. Has really nice, and also, I mean, it's free.
Right.
Vital's great for doing like more precise wavetable based stuff, but Serum is just such a go-to. I think Serum's workflow, for how old it is, like, it really stood the test of time, and I think Serum is the best for workflow.
What made you fall in love with music and production?
The idea that I can create something that I hear in my head and be able to listen to it in real life and be even more excited about it.
What are your other passions and hobbies besides music and graphics?
I was gonna say graphics, but well, I like chilling. I like being alone. I like meditating. I like doing yoga. Just exploring the inner worlds, the mental realms, and yeah, science is cool.
Why the name AU5?
So it started out as just a stylized version of the first 3 letters of my name. So my name's Austin, AUS. And if you're cool from 2007, you're gonna change the S's to 5s.
Any advice on mixing music with lots of melodic content happening simultaneously?
Yeah, I think it's important that there's one thing that you have to keep in mind. What is the one thing that is carrying the piece at the moment? So if you have all these different melodies, it's really important that there's one that is essentially functioning as the lead melody. If you can sing the song, then it's a good melody. Like, it's a strong melody. And so, yeah, just stick with one thing as being the top priority, melodically speaking.
At what point in your career did you feel like you had really established yourself in electronic music?
I mean, honestly, I've never actually felt that, and I still don't. I still feel like I'm, even though we're doing this, I still feel like I'm not really fully established yet. I don't know. Maybe that has happened and it's just been super gradual. Maybe it's right now.
Yeah, no, I have another similar question, which is, how long did it take you to feel like you were good enough in music production?
Good enough, that's the thing. Like, good enough for, sometimes I feel like I'm great, and other times I feel like, man, I don't know how I just fluked my way into this career. Like, I don't know, man.
Dead AU5, any correlation?
No.
Any artists, musicians you would like to collab with this year?
I haven't really thought about that.
No.
I don't know.
When did you realize you found your sound?
I answered that earlier.
What's the best way to approach the music business?
I mean, I would say this is totally personal. I'd say just do you and own it until, you find a manager and someone that can do all the dirty work for you. Because that's the soul crushing stuff.
What do you think of your 2016 to 2017 era? You didn't drop too many tracks in that era.
Yeah, that wasn't too much. That was like Free Fall, Lush, that sort of stuff. I mean, listening back on it, I don't know. It was just a part of me.
Any advice for staying motivated for a longer period of time or just in general? Did you answer this already?
Sort of, but one advice that I do want to give is take breaks. Like if you're in the flow and if you have more ideas to go that you want to write down, stop prematurely. Like stop right before your very last idea. And I find that kind of gives you an extra edge, a little bit more of a spark and motivation when you return back to that idea, or when you return back to that song. You already have that one idea that you've been hanging on to get you jump started.
Favorite generator plugins?
Generative plugins. Honestly, I don't really know of any, nor do I know if I actually use any. I'm not sure.
When dealing with negativity, do you avoid it or face it head on?
Well, my natural tendency is to rationalize it, like to break it down into something that is not emotional, and to help me understand it and therefore, be able to transcend it. But I find that actually doesn't really do you any good when it comes to being able to grow and learn from like life and emotions. So lately it's been facing it, and sometimes taking much more time than you anticipate or that you really want to feel it and understand it and process it.
Will you make more color-based tracks in the future? Cryptochrome is insane.
Thanks. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it was fun making that. So, I'm not gonna say like no, I'll never make that again. No, it was great. Probably.
Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? I feel I don't think there's really any one person that inspires me. Is this still recording, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't think there's any one person that inspires me. I feel like I'm inspired by experiences and whoever I'm either listening to or interacting with, or just whatever I focus on. I try to find something or I naturally tend to find something that inspires me or motivates me or interests me. So.
Any advice for students already taking the School of Bass and Serum masterclass?
Any advice for students taking the courses? I wish I did. No, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's beneficial to you.
What helps you write emotional songs? How does that differ from writing heavy songs?
So something that helps me write emotional songs, I think that comes down to I don't know. Yeah, that's actually a good question. It's just something that I'll feel, and no matter what the feeling is, if it's something angry or heavy, or I guess the best advice for that is really to just be honest with yourself, be in tune with what it is that you're feeling, and don't be afraid to create it.
Do you write, arrange in one project and sound design in another? How does that work?
So there's overlap. I do sometimes if I don't have a compositional idea or a melody or anything in mind, I'll just do sound design. I'll just open up a new session and then just start messing around with synths. It's totally non-committal, and it's great because oftentimes when you're not trying to make any particular sound or any particular song, you come up with the best ideas and the most innovative ideas, and then what I'll usually do is just save that preset or that sound or render it as a sample, and then I'll just use those in my compositional / arrangement sessions later down the line.
What do you think about Panda Eyes style? Would you ever do a collab with him one day?
I don't actually know Panda Eyes. I don't know anything about him.
Any chance you will collaborate with Virtual Riot?
Dude, I'd love to if he'll get back to my Instagram DMs. Yeah.
Damn, Belle, he's shouting you out.
I love you, dude. I know how it is.
What he's doing when he's not producing. What are you doing when you're not producing music, and what is your approach to work-life balance?
When I'm not doing music, I'm usually Not really any one particular thing. Usually I'm just staying home and just chilling, just kicking it.
Collab with Haywire?
It's funny, we almost started, he actually proposed the collab back in 2014, but we both got really busy at that time and that never happened. I'd love to. I think he's brilliant, and Martin's a really cool dude, so I totally wouldn't mind, but I totally get how busy.
Any info about updates to School of Bass?
So probably by the, actually, I cannot say. You gotta talk to Wyatt about that.
Walkthrough of the new release?
The new release? Oh, A Million Miles? Well, that's the current new release. Maybe. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. It's a good idea.
Favorite Macs for live plugin?
Yeah, probably, which one do I use all the time? Probably Duck Buddy. It's free. It's made by Slink, and it's the best sidechaining plugin that I've ever tried. So you should get it.
A best free software to get started with, is that the same?
Best free software to get started with. Well, that's tough. As far as DAW goes, I'm not really sure what the best. I think Reaper might be free and is modular. I think it's open source. And as far as synth goes, I'd say Vital. Vital is probably the most powerful free synth that you can get, hands down.
So I got a couple questions on this. Are you working on an album? That is already answered in the other episode. So make sure you check out his SIDEWALK talk. And then are there any other genres you would like to branch out to?
That I haven't already. Let's see. Probably, and I probably don't even know that they exist yet. So yes.
What is the track you like the most this year?
The track that I like the most this year? I guess that came out this year. I really like. Give me one sec. I really like this song called Whirlpool by Sharks and Skybreak. I think it's incredible.
Do you think we're approaching a limit to how much better, for lack of a better term, sound design can get, or do you think the possibilities are endless?
No, actually, that's a good question. I think the whole idea of like sound design, like how good we can get when it comes to music in general, and including sound design, is it's totally subjective. It's going to change every few years. The collective ear, so to speak, is going to change its taste. And honestly, I think if 10 years ago we heard what electronic music sounds like now, it wouldn't be nearly as it wouldn't be as popular. Like I don't think people would like it as much, because it takes what happened just previously to give context to what is happening right now musically.
When did you find out you were a wizard?
When Hagrid broke down my door. It's like, when people started telling me that.
When did you land on Earth, and have you spoken to our leaders yet?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the backstory of when I actually came here. So, I don't really have any info on that.
This question is answered in the other interview as well. Where do you see yourself in 3, 5, 10 years? So
3, 5,
yeah,
10 years.
Yeah. Just check out the other video. How do you get the inspiration for certain sounds or certain melodies?
Well, I'd say it's half just being perceptive to. Okay, for sounds, half the time it's just experimental, and then like I'll just stumble upon something and I'll just be open to using it. And then the other half is just like hearing a bunch of other sounds, like hearing a bunch of other music, and kind of just like picking out sounds that I like, trying to recreate them. As far as melodies go, yeah, it's kind of just an intuitive thing. I just hear melodies in my head, and I just try to be very deliberate about, like, if I hear something that was like, ooh, that makes me feel a certain way, I'll try to like hum that out and really solidify that and see and explore that, see what that feels like.
Has AU5 always been your artist name?
Yep.
Is there any general message or story that you're trying to convey in your music? If so, what is it?
I don't know if I can answer that right now. It's a pretty deep one, but I'll try briefly. The deeper message I'd say is that there is more to life than what you're currently experiencing, and it's worth exploring.
Do you have any suggestions for creatives who are delving into the storytelling aspect of what they create?
Well, I think doing something that is like creating a story that is based off of something that is true to you, something that is honest to you, whether that be your own life experiences or just something that is true to you emotionally. I'd say that's a good place to start.
What's the electric piano sound in Piece of Me? Damned if I can reproduce it.
The electric, that I think that sound is from Piano Tech.
What was the first genre you wanted to make?
First genre I wanted to make? Well, probably it's got to be Hands Up Trance from the first interview.
Yeah. Do you make other genres of music that never gets released?
Well, I do make a lot of music that never gets released, or that because it's never fully finished. But I'm not opposed to releasing anything that I finish. There's a lot of experimental and chill music that I've made that is just not finished yet.
Would you consider VR DJing? Importance of analysis of alchemy? Oh, these are 4 different questions. Would you consider VR DJing?
VR DJing?
Yeah.
Like would I consider being in virtual reality to be DJing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or would I consider actually VJing or DJing in virtual reality? That would be cool, I guess. I'll try it.
Importance of the analysis of alchemy?
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
When sound designing, do you ever have a specific goal to what it should sound like, or you just wing it?
Yeah, I mean, this goes 50-50. Sometimes you just gotta let yourself be inspired. Especially if you're stuck just not being able to make something that you hear in your head. I feel like an equally beneficial skill is to learn to find inspiration in the natural chaos that arises when you create. If it's not something that you deliberately wanted to create, that might be a blessing in disguise. I think, I'd say half of my sound design is really just happy accidents.
What is your favorite genre that isn't EDM?
Might be probably acid jazz.
How did you figure out those sound designing techniques? Do you just sit in your studio and turn knobs until shit sounded cool?
That's a lot of it, yeah. That's a lot of it. With usually some kind of direction. Just like wanting to explore something that sounds more like metallic or more wet or something that I haven't explored before, or just playing with new synths. It's like literally inspiration can be found anywhere. You just gotta be open to it.
Multiband sidechain or something else?
Multiband sidechaining is great. Do it.
Best way to force yourself to not obsess over a single sound until you've lost the flow?
You need to set a timer for yourself and set a timer with 1 minute increments. That at the end of each timer, move on to something else. You just gotta, like I said before, you just gotta stay on your toes.
How long do you spend on average working on a track?
So this really varies, but there are situations where quite a few songs of mine, it takes about 3 days to finish the composition, and it takes about, I'd say, 4 or 5 days to finish the mix down and master for a lot of my songs.
What are some of your favorite foods?
I like sushi. And I really like, what else do I really like? I really like rare steak.
Ooh, bomb. I love rare steak too. Okay, last question. There's another question, but it's an ID of a song, so you're gonna have to go look at that yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, what timestamp is it?
47.
Yeah, I get asked that one a lot. That is, it's an unreleased song of mine, and it will come out when it is ready to come out.
And last question, what got you into music production, and did you ever play in a rock, metal, hardcore band?
Yes. So music production, like I said earlier, I really like trance music, and that's kind of what inspired me to that's kind of the first kind of thing that I explored, because I just wanted to make what I heard in my head and what I liked. And yes, actually, I've been in several bands actually, and this is one of the reasons why I went full force into doing the whole solo career thing. Is I played with bandmates, and I had my own vision, and it's a lot easier when you have a really strong vision to just do it yourself if you can. That was kind of like learning the ropes of producing, is like mixing and recording bands, or my own band and other bands and stuff. So
cool. Well, that was all. Thank you for jumping on the channel
Yeah,
for
of course.
SIDEWALK, and we will see you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.
See ya.